Okay, so let's just look for some of the user comments for the Scholarships Canada website. But basically, this is some of the feedback we've received from students or parents who have used our website. And in October, we did have a segment on CTV where one of the students, David Casello, received 3 different scholarships from the Scholarships Canada website. And he's currently studying at the University of Toronto and in his 2nd year. So that's pretty exciting. As we wrap up our presentation, when it comes to funding your studies, what are the 5 takeaway tips? What are the 5 steps to getting these scholarships so you can fund your education and go off into the field of your dreams? So basically, the first and foremost is to be positive. Assume that there is a scholarship for you. If you go in with a positive attitude, definitely you are at a much better chance of finding a scholarship, because if you go in with a negative attitude, your search becomes narrowed and diminished. Definitely, if you see a scholarship where you're not really sure that you may be eligible for it, like maybe 4 of the 5 eligibility requirements are applicable to you, you might want to bookmark that particular scholarship and go back to it later, because maybe that 5th point that you weren't so sure about, maybe you can make it apply to you. You never really know. So be positive and assume that there's a scholarship out there for you. Again, if you have a particular field of interest, if you search for that, likely there is a scholarship available. Now, if you're proactive with your search, as I mentioned before, start early. If you're in grade 10 or grade 11, it's a perfect time to start to prepare, because definitely with things like reference letters, portfolios, or even a template for your scholarship essays, that's a great thing you can prepare in advance. Also with making up that calendar for deadlines, that's a great way to do it as well. Even if you're in grade 12, or even if you're currently in undergraduate studies, you're still eligible for a scholarship. So it's never really too late to search for a scholarship. You're just in a better position if you start early. Okay, and next on our list is to be prepared. So again, as I mentioned, by being proactive and starting early, you're also being prepared with everything that you do. So those reference letters, your resume and portfolio are things you can do ahead of time and prepare in advance. And if you have a template going in, you're in a much better position to make it applicable to your scholarship application. And also, if you start early, that's a great way for you to build relationships with your teachers or your coaches or your volunteer coordinators, because those letters of reference can also turn into phone calls or job applications in the future. Okay, and next, be fearless. So if you do have any questions at any time about a particular scholarship, definitely contact the scholarship administrator, because they're there to help you with your scholarship search. And let's see, also be resourceful. Again, if you looked on our website, Scholarships Canada, that's great. That's one way to start off your scholarship search. But also other resources out there. If you have teachers or professors or your guidance counselor, they may have more information about scholarships. You can even ask your uncle, your family members, or your parents. They may be working for a company that is offering a scholarship that may not be advertised as of yet because it's very new, or they don't know how to advertise it. So if you don't ask, you don't know. And definitely I can draw back on my example previously with my friend who didn't ask her program if an entrance scholarship was available. So definitely, if you have any questions about scholarships, or if you're curious about scholarships, or you can even post it on your Facebook status that you're looking for scholarships. And you never know, maybe somebody in your network knows of a scholarship that they're applying for or that you should know about. So be resourceful and have a look, and you never know. Because we do have over 23,000 scholarships worth over $93 million on our website. And something very exciting that I definitely look forward to on a daily basis is social media. So basically with Scholarships Canada and School Finder, we're both on Twitter and Facebook, so feel free to follow or like us, because that would make me very happy. But also, speaking of scholarships, we do have a Take Charge 2011 Twitter contest. This is an example of a small award. Our prize is only $50, but it's a lot of fun. And definitely, if you go on to our Scholarship CA Twitter account, you can see all the other entries that everyone is tweeting about. You just have to include the Take Charge 2011 hashtag in your tweet. And we're curious and want to know how you are taking charge of your future. And also one of the comments I have as a scholarship administrator for this particular award is that I would really love to see more personalized tweets. If you are participating in this particular contest, it would be great to know what you're doing to take charge. It's great that we have lots of inspirational quotes and people have advice and tips on how they go about their lives, but I would like to hear more about you. And that's definitely something the scholarship administrators want to hear more about. They want to hear more about you and what you're interested in and what you do and what makes you happy at the end of the day. So when you're writing your essays, do keep that in mind. These are some of the resources that we have available. Other than Scholarships Canada, if you're looking for scholarships in the United States, fastweb.com is a great resource for that. And perhaps if scholarships are not an option for you, or if you would like to supplement your scholarship applications, you may want to look into student loans at the bank or provincial loans through your government website. So other than Scholarships Canada, if you do sign up for an account, the same login and password are applicable to all our other School Finder group of websites. So if you enjoyed this webinar series, definitely I would love to hear feedback from you, whether you enjoyed it, whether you didn't enjoy it, and I really hope you did enjoy our webinar today. If you have any suggestions on what sort of topics that we should cover, definitely I would love to hear from you. And we do have some upcoming webinars. Currently, the one coming up in December we have is Down with Debt with Andrew McNabb. It's a financial literacy webinar. Andrew McNabb was recently on the CBC, so he's a very interesting person. And we'll be speaking about financial literacy and budgeting, which goes great hand in hand with finding scholarships. So if you appreciated this particular webinar on finding scholarships, then definitely register for our upcoming webinar on financial literacy, basically. And we have 2 sessions, one in December and another in January. I am currently forming together the webinar series for the new year. We do have another webinar coming up on stress management, so that's something you may be interested in. We do have another one for international students on tips on how to start your studies in Canada, and also some other webinars on career development. So if you want to learn more about writing a resume, that would be the place to be. So if you visit our events page again in the coming weeks, you'll see more on our webinar schedule. Okay, so if you have any feedback or questions, if you are a parent or a counselor and you would like some of our postcards, we do offer School Finder or Scholarships Canada postcards. Simply send us an email with your mailing address and how many postcards you would like. And this is our contact information. And that pretty much concludes our presentation. And it's been a lovely session. Definitely, if you would like to stick around for our question and answer period at the end, you're more than welcome to do so.